think we would, how much do you think is left in that? Can you give me a ballpark?
It's around 25.
Okay, so by saying $30,000 is, we would have to redo this, but not to exceed $30,000. So, well, if everybody's okay with that.
Chairman, just a quick question.
Sure.
If in fact we renew a contract, we have renewed a contract with a business person, so therefore we're saying that we are going to contract in them these services. Even though Jason would have to come back to us and ask us to transfer the money into that account, we still have accepted a contract with a vendor, in my opinion, that we're basically authorizing that vendor for another year to do all this work, so we gotta pay him.
No, we would only have to pay them basically whatever's brought back to us. So if we okay the $30,000, once that money's done, anything. There you go, that would be the best way of putting it. That way when this contract is completely solvent, then anything prior to that, even though we did a one-year contract, although if it's under $2,000, wouldn't have to be brought back in front of us. Correct.
Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
There's only an approved amount of money that's currently in existence on record, so we could not exceed that amount regardless, because that's all we're authorized. But if you guys want to add a not to exceed, it would parallel, it would be the same thing, but if it makes everybody more comfortable, we have no issue with that. But regardless, once we get to the amount that was approved without coming back to you, we can't go over it.
Okay, even if it's under 2,000?
That's correct.
Okay.
Because the cumulative is over the 2,000 amount, so.
So, go ahead.
I'd like to amend my motion to read, motion to approve a one-year contract extension for Louis Landscaping and Snow Removal Inc. for tree trimming and removal not to exceed the current approved remaining funds. Support.
Not to exceed the what remaining?
Current
Current.
approved remaining funds.
Okay, so I have a motion by Councilwoman Croft, supported by Councilwoman Winton. Is there any more discussion?
I have a question. I'm really confused on this, because if we vote on this, we're voting on to extend the contract of this company.
The mayor just specified anything.
But what it's
If
saying,
we use this amount of money, it's done. And they would have to come back with us a new contract, even if it's under 2,000, because that's what concerned me is, if it was under 2,000, they wouldn't have to, but according to the administration, that they would not be allowed to do that. And once we put this in here, they cannot exceed the money that's left in that balance. So if there's 25,000, once they hit the 25, say if it's 5,000 to remove a stump, and they did it 5 times, that ends the money. We'd have to have a contract in front of us in order for them to do any more work with Louis Landscaping, even if we do the 1 year.
so can you repeat the motion again? Because it's not what it says in here. This is for the 2021 season, and that's why I'm confused.
Okay, motion to approve can we say motion to approve a contract extension to Louis Landscaping and Snow Removal Inc. for tree trimming and removal not to exceed the current approved remaining funds.
I think you're correct in removing the 1 year contract.
Because that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to extend it and then have exactly like what Mr. Amick said. So we're not doing pricing for the 2021 season for Louis Landscaping. We're not extending the contract for 2021. We're only extending it until their funds are depleted.
Right.
I was just getting my steps in, but yes.
Okay. So now that the motion has been, you made the motion. Okay. I have the motion, the updated motion by Councilwoman Cross, supported by Councilwoman Winton. Is there any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
No.
Roll call, please.
Sorry.
Ms. Winton?
Yes.
Mrs. Croft?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Becerra?
Yes.
Mrs. Pat?
No.
Mr. Ramick?
No.
Mr. Woolley?
Yes, motion carries. Item 6.18 is a motion to approve the request by the property owner for the removal of weed special assessment for $580 and hazard special assessment for $372.50 for a total of $952.50. And the winter taxes 2020 for the property at 9301 Cornell.
Motion.
Support?
Okay, I have a motion by Councilwoman Witten, supported by Councilwoman Pats. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I know you're up here already, so, and I know we received an email from this gentleman, but can you explain what's going on here?
Basically, the ordinance department was called out to this residence. The grass in the backyard is probably 2 feet tall, a bunch of junk and debris laying around. They followed the normal ordinance process of warning, and then that ticket was issued, and we were ready to clean up. And this is the cost of the cleanup.
So was the resident in the
It was
home
va-
at the
It was
time?
vacant at the time.
It was vacant at the time?
Yes.
Did he, it was vacant and didn't have anybody in it
There
that was
no-
evicted?
Correct.
Was he was the owner at the time that this
Yes.
was going on? And being that it was during COVID, did our ordinance officers give him some leeway time, or did they give him a specified time, saying it had to be done by this time, or, like a normal time, being that it was COVID?
They traditionally do that. They do that COVID, non-COVID. Usually give time to clean it up. There was no response, so they had to take care of it. The complaints of the following, the neighbors around the area were complaining about rodents, and as you can see in the pictures, how tall everything was and the garbage everywhere.
I have seen the pictures of it afterwards too. Have you seen the pictures after?
And the biggest thing is we did render services. We had to go out and cut, we had to, the administrative fees. The fine was dropped, from what I understand, in the court, because
That was my next.
they're pretty backed up and they're eliminating a lot of cases, but at the end of the day, the city still did work over there.
Yes.
That was my question. What kind of work did we do?
Cleaned up the junk and debris that was laying around, and they cut the grass. Actually, they've cut the grass. They cut the grass twice.
And they removed all that debris that was in
Yeah.
the back?
Yes.
So the tickets themselves were dismissed because of a court backup? The document that we have says something about being wrongfully charged. Is that not a true statement? That these were, I've seen the pictures. They seem like legitimate citations, and if any one of us lived next to that property, we'd be livid, and we'd be demanding the city come out and do something about it.
Correct.
And
I
we
don't know
did
where
that.
she made, that's between the individual and the court. We weren't part of that conversation. But from our perspective, when we look at the ordinance, it's just.
So basically, we're charging him strictly for the cleanup. Now, we have the authority to go in there and clean up and bill somebody, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
It's in the ordinance.
what the court did, they just basically dismissed the ordinance violation, which could have been an additional cost, correct?
Correct. They're two separate entities.
Correct.
There's the court, the ticket, and then there's our cleanup
Yeah.
costs. So
So we're just charging what we can,
Correct.
going out having to clean it up.
Yes.
We can justify it.
Yes.
That's the important part.
yes.
Any other discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Councilwoman Witten, supported by Councilwoman Pats. All those in favor say yes. All opposed say no.
No.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Winton,
No.
Ms. Croft,
No.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Brazzura,
No.
Mrs. Pat,
No.
Mr. Ramick,
No?
Mr. Woolley.
No. Motion fails. Item 6.19 is a motion to approve the attendance of 2 clerk's office employees to the International Institute